Have you ever noticed the way you speak to yourself when no one is watching? If a friend spoke to you the way you sometimes speak to yourself, would you even keep that friend? Yet, the truth is, we live with our inner voice 24 hours a day. That inner dialogue can either be our biggest enemy or our strongest ally. The most powerful conversation you will ever have is not with your boss, your partner, your parents, or even your friends. It is the conversation you are having with yourself every single moment. I remember once meeting a young man who came to me and said, "I feel like I'm a failure. Nothing I do is enough. I keep telling myself I'm not capable." I looked at him and said, "If you tell a plant every day that it is weak, useless, and incapable, do you think it will grow strong?" He smiled painfully and said, "Of course not." Then I asked, "Then why do you expect your own life to blossom when the words you are planting inside are full of self-doubt and negativity?" My friends, self-talk is the seed of your destiny. It is not the world outside, but the world inside that truly defines your peace, your confidence, and your happiness. When you change the way you speak to yourself, you don't just change your mood, you change your entire life. Let us pause for a moment and think about this simple truth. Your mind is like a faithful servant. It does not argue with you, it does not resist you, it simply absorbs and believes what you repeatedly tell it. If you keep telling yourself, "I am not capable, I am unlucky, I am not good enough," the mind accepts it as reality and begins to operate from that framework. On the other hand, if you tell yourself, "I am learning, I am growing, I am capable," the mind will also believe this and align your actions in that direction. It is not magic, it is the natural law of repetition. Just as water over time can carve valleys through rocks, the words you repeat to yourself carve pathways in your mind, and those pathways become your habits, your decisions, and eventually your destiny. Think about a child in school. A teacher who tells that child every day, "You are bright, you are intelligent, you can do this," is planting seeds of confidence. That child grows up to approach challenges with courage. But another child who is told every day, "You are slow, you are not good enough, you will never get this right," eventually stops trying even in areas where he or she could have excelled. Now pause and ask yourself, if words from someone else can shape us so powerfully, what about the words we speak to ourselves every day in silence? Are they uplifting us, or are they silently breaking us? There was once a story about two wolves inside each of us. One wolf represents fear, doubt, and weakness, while the other wolf represents courage, hope, and strength. Which wolf grows stronger? The one you feed. And how do we feed them? Through our self-talk. Every time we say, "I cannot," we are feeding the wolf of weakness. Every time we say, "I will try, I will learn, I will find a way," we are feeding the wolf of strength. Over weeks, months, and years, the wolf we feed dominates our lives. Many of us don't realize we are starving the stronger wolf by constantly feeding the weaker one with our negative words. Take a daily life example. Imagine you are preparing for a job interview. You wake up in the morning and think, "I am nervous. I don't think I can answer well, I will probably make mistakes." Before you even leave home, you have already drained your own confidence. You walk in with shaky energy, and the interviewer senses your lack of self-belief. Now imagine the same scenario with different self-talk. You wake up and tell yourself, "I may not know everything, but I am prepared. I will remain calm, and I will give my best." Even if you still feel nervous, your words soothe your mind, and you walk in with energy that says, I am capable. The difference in outcome is massive, yet the only thing that changed was not your qualifications, not your intelligence, but the words you chose to tell yourself. Self-talk is not just about motivation, it becomes the foundation of how we carry ourselves. A person who constantly tells themselves, I am clumsy, I am unlucky, nothing good happens to me, eventually moves through life in a defeated posture. They see obstacles instead of opportunities, threats instead of chances. But a person who repeats, I am blessed, I am learning, life is guiding me, develops a posture of openness. They may face the same obstacles, but their inner words empower them to see solutions where others see dead ends. If you notice, professional athletes practice this principle consciously. Before they step onto the field, they don't just train their bodies, they train their minds. They repeat affirmations like, I am ready, I am strong, I will perform at my best. Why? Because they know that when the mind is convinced, the body follows. Yet many of us, in our daily lives, are doing the opposite. We keep repeating to ourselves what we cannot do, and then wonder why life feels so heavy. There is an old saying, be careful of your thoughts, for your thoughts become words. Be careful of your words, for your words become actions. Be careful of your actions, for your actions become your destiny. Now imagine this chain beginning not just with thoughts, but with self-talk. Because self-talk is simply thought spoken within. If your words are filled with doubt, your actions shrink. If your words are filled with courage, your actions expand. This is why it is said, whether you think you can or you think you cannot, you are right. Let me share something practical. Next time you catch yourself saying, I can't, pause and add one word. Yet, instead of, I can't do this, say, I can't do this yet. That single word turns a wall into a door. It shifts your mind from finality to possibility. It allows space for growth. This is how powerful your words are. They can either close every door in your life or open new ones. Remember, your mind is like fertile soil. Whatever seeds you plant, it does not question, it simply nurtures. If you keep planting seeds of self-doubt, you will harvest fear. If you keep planting seeds of self-belief, you will harvest confidence. Every day, you are sowing, whether you realize it or not. The question is, what are you sowing? So the secret is simple. Feed your mind with strength, not weakness. Choose words that lift you, not words that break you. And when you do this consistently, you will notice a transformation in your energy, your attitude, and your life. Because at the end of the day, the most powerful person influencing you is not the world outside, it is the voice inside. Change that voice, and you will change everything. Negative self-talk is like carrying invisible chains. You cannot see them, but you can feel them. They weigh on your shoulders, they slow your steps, and they keep you from reaching the places you are meant to go. Most of the time, it is not the world outside that stops us. It is the quiet, constant voice inside whispering, you are not good enough. You cannot handle this, you will fail. These are not harmless words, they are ropes that tie down your confidence, shackles that restrict your growth, and barriers that prevent you from even trying. But the beauty of life is this, just as these chains are created by words, they can also be broken by words. Positive self-talk is the key that unlocks them, setting you free to rise into your true potential. Think about a person standing at the edge of a swimming pool, wanting to jump in but whispering to themselves, I can't swim well, I will sink, people will laugh at me. The chains tighten. Even though the water is safe, even though lifeguards are near, the person is trapped. not by the pool, not by the people, but by their own inner words. Now imagine the same person saying, I am learning, I will practice, I can float, I will try. The words shift, and suddenly the chains loosen. The pool is the same, the people are the same, but the courage to jump comes alive because the words inside became different. Many people live life standing on the edge of opportunities, held back by invisible chains of negative self-talk. A student says, I am not smart enough to pass this exam. A worker says, I am not capable of leading this project. A woman says, I am not strong enough to start again after failure. And so they never even try. It is not life that denies them. It is their own voice that imprisons them. On the other hand, those who speak to themselves with belief begin to unlock doors that others fear to touch. They do not succeed because life is easier for them. They succeed because they choose not to keep themselves in chains. Let us bring this to a simple daily life example. Imagine you are asked to give a short talk in front of your colleagues. Immediately, your mind begins its negative chatter. I will forget my words. I will embarrass myself. I am not a good speaker. With every repetition, the invisible chains tighten. You stand there frozen, incapable of expressing what you already know. Now imagine you say to yourself instead, I may feel nervous, but I can share my thoughts. I don't need to be perfect, I just need to be clear. I have something valuable to offer. Suddenly, the chains begin to break. Your voice may still shake, but you will speak, and with practice, you will improve. The same situation, the same people, the same stage, only your self-talk changed, and with it, your freedom to act. It is important to realize that negative self-talk does not only affect confidence, it affects the choices we make. A person who believes, I cannot achieve more than this, never applies for new opportunities. A person who thinks, I will always fail, avoids risks and remains in the same place for years. Their life shrinks to the size of their inner words. But the moment someone begins to say, I can learn, I can grow, I can rise again, they start taking steps, and those steps lead them to new places. Positive self-talk expands the boundaries of life. Negative self-talk shrinks them. There was once a story of an elephant in a circus. From a young age, it was tied with a small rope to a post. The baby elephant tried to break free, but it was not strong enough. After many attempts, it gave up. Years later, when the elephant grew large and powerful, it still remained tied to that same small rope. The elephant could have easily broken it, but in its mind it still believed, I cannot escape. The real chain was no longer on its leg, it was in its thoughts. How many of us are like that elephant? We have grown stronger, wiser, more capable, but we are still held back by the words we told ourselves years ago. When you change your self-talk, you are not pretending, you are reclaiming your strength. Positive self-talk does not mean denying reality. It means affirming your ability to grow through reality. For example, saying, I will never succeed is a chain. Saying, I will succeed immediately may feel unrealistic. But saying, I am capable of learning, I will improve step by step, I am stronger than I think, is both true and liberating. It gives you the courage to act, and through action, the confidence becomes real. Think of the times in your life when you were afraid to try, but once you took a small step, you discovered you were capable. That moment was the breaking of a chain. That is what positive self-talk does every single day. It weakens the chains of doubt until one day they no longer hold you. And the beautiful part is the chains are not made of steel. They are made of words. Words can be changed. Words can be replaced. Words can be chosen with care. So, remember this negative self-talk creates invisible chains that imprison you in fear, but positive self-talk is the key that sets you free. Every time you say to yourself, I am not enough, you add another link to the chain. Every time you say, I am growing, I am capable, I am enough, you break one. The more you speak with kindness and belief to yourself, the freer you become. And when you are free inside, no obstacle outside can stop you. Words are like water, and you are the plant. Every single day, what you tell yourself either nourishes you or dries you up. When a gardener tends to a plant, he knows that water is not optional, it is essential. Without it, even the healthiest seed will eventually wither. In the same way, your mind and heart require constant nourishment through the words you speak to yourself. If those words are negative, it is like pouring poison into the soil. If they are positive, it is like giving fresh, clean water that helps the plant grow, blossom, and bear fruit. The fascinating thing is, you and I are both the gardener and the plant at the same time. We decide whether we give ourselves fresh water or drain ourselves with poison every single day. Think about it this way. A child who hears the words, you are loved, you are capable, you can try again, grows up with confidence, just like a plant that receives water regularly grows with strength. But if that child hears, you are useless, you will never succeed, you are a burden, it is like giving the plant dirty water or no water at all. The child might still survive, but survival is not the same as flourishing. The same happens with you when you constantly water your inner world with words of self-doubt. You may carry on with life, but inside you are dehydrated, you lack vitality, strength, and the inner glow that comes only when the right words are poured daily into your soul. Take a simple everyday example. Imagine waking up in the morning and the first thing you tell yourself is, this is going to be a terrible day. I don't want to face it. I am tired. Those words are the very first water you pour on your plant. And guess what? By midday, your energy has already started drying up because you have poisoned your own soil with those words. On the other hand, if you wake up and say, today I may face challenges, but I am grateful for another day. I will do my best and I will handle what comes. Suddenly the water is different. The plant feels refreshed, the soil feels alive, and you carry yourself with strength. The challenges may still come, but your roots have been watered and you can withstand them. Words don't just affect your mood, they affect your growth. A plant watered daily grows slowly, quietly, but steadily. In the same way, when you feed your mind with positive words every day, you may not notice the change immediately. But over weeks, months, and years, you will see yourself standing taller, more confident, more resilient. Just like a neglected plant becomes fragile, a person neglected by their own words of kindness becomes weak. But when you start pouring words of encouragement into yourself, you become unshakable, no matter how strong the winds of life blow. Consider the story of two students preparing for an exam. One tells himself daily, I am not smart enough, I will fail again. Each time he says this, it is like withholding water from his own plant. He opens the book, but his mind is already dry, cracked, and unwilling to grow. The second student says, I may not understand everything yet, but I can learn, I will improve. Every time he repeats this, he pours fresh water into his soil. The first student gives up halfway, while the second grows steadily and eventually blossoms in success, not because one was born smarter, but because one watered his mind with life, giving words while the other drained his with negativity. Even in relationships, Words act like water. If you tell yourself, I am unlovable, no one will ever truly care for me, you build walls around yourself. Those walls dry out your ability to give and receive love. But if you tell yourself, I am worthy of love, I am capable of kindness, I am enough, you water your ability to connect, and love naturally flows in and out of your life. The outside world responds to the plant you are nurturing within. A thriving plant attracts admiration, a withering plant draws pity. Likewise, a thriving soul attracts opportunities, love, and respect, while a dehydrated soul constantly feels overlooked. What is most beautiful about this truth is that you don't need anyone else to water your inner plant. You don't need to wait for compliments, applause, or recognition. You have the watering can in your own hands. The words you choose, the affirmations you repeat, the way you speak to yourself, all of this is water. And the supply is infinite because it flows directly from your choice. Every day you can decide, will I pour life, giving water into myself, or will I allow myself to dry out? Remember, no plant becomes lush in a single day. It is daily watering that brings transformation. In the same way, you may not feel an immediate difference after speaking kind words to yourself once or twice. But when you make it a practice, when you nurture yourself with steady, consistent encouragement, you will look back after some time and realize you are standing tall, blooming with confidence, and bearing fruits of success and peace. So let us not underestimate the power of words. They are not small, they are streams of water flowing directly into the garden of your life. If you choose them wisely, they will help you grow in ways you never imagined. And just like a healthy plant gives shade, beauty, and fruit to the world around it, when you water yourself with positive self-talk, you not only uplift yourself, you also bring comfort and inspiration to everyone around you. Because a thriving plant does not just exist for itself, it becomes a blessing for others too. Speak to yourself as you would to someone you deeply love. This may sound simple, but when you truly pause to reflect on it, you realize how differently we treat ourselves compared to how we treat those we care for. Imagine your best friend comes to you and says, I failed, I feel so useless, I don't think I can make it. Would you look into their eyes and say, yes, you're right, you are useless, you'll never succeed? Of course not. You would comfort them, remind them of their strengths, tell them it's only a setback and that they are capable of bouncing back. You would carefully choose words that uplift, encourage, and soothe. Now, ask yourself when you fail, when you fall, when you stumble, do you extend the same kindness to yourself, or do you become your harshest critic? Most of us speak to ourselves in ways we would never dare to speak to someone we love. We say things like, I'm so stupid, I'm worthless, I'll never get this right. These words pierce deeper than any insult from another person because they come from within. We often underestimate how much harm we cause ourselves by being our own enemy in times when we most need a friend. Self-talk is not just words, it is emotional nourishment. Just as you would not feed junk food to someone you care about, why would you feed toxic words to your own mind? Think of a parent with their child. A little boy is learning how to ride a bicycle. He falls once, he falls twice, maybe 10 times. What does a loving parent say? Do they shout, you're hopeless, you'll never learn, give up? No. They smile, they hold the child, they say, you're doing so well, keep trying, you'll get it soon. The parents' words are filled with patience and love because they know that encouragement fuels growth. If that same child were left alone and only told themselves, I can't do this. I'll never ride. They might give up before ever learning. And yet, when we fall in our own lives, we often speak to ourselves like the harsh critic rather than the loving parent. Let me give you a daily life example. Imagine you make a mistake at work, a small error in a report. You immediately tell yourself, I'm such an idiot. I always mess up. Why can't I get anything right? These words don't just describe the mistake, they attack your identity. The mistake was small, but the damage you've done through words is massive. Now imagine you spoke to yourself as you would to a loved one. I made an error, but that's okay. Everyone makes mistakes. I'll fix it and do better next time. The difference is night and day. In the first case, you shrink, lose confidence, and perhaps avoid new responsibilities out of fear. In the second, you remain calm, learn from it, and continue to grow. Why is it that we believe others deserve compassion but not ourselves? Why do we think kindness is weakness when directed inward, but strength when directed outward? The truth is, being gentle with yourself is not indulgence, it is wisdom. Because no one spends more time with you than you. If you constantly live with a voice inside that criticizes, belittles, and insults you, you will carry heaviness wherever you go. But if you live with a voice inside that encourages, supports, and uplifts you, you will carry lightness and confidence even in hard times. There was once a famous experiment where plants were placed in two rooms. One group of plants was spoken to daily with positive words. You are growing beautifully, you are healthy. The other group was spoken to with negative words. You are weak, you won't last long. Amazingly, the plants that received positive words grew stronger and healthier, while the others withered. If mere plants respond to words, imagine the impact of the words you are feeding yourself every single day. If you want to thrive, you must speak to yourself with the same love you would give to a friend, a child, or someone precious to you. Think about the times in your life when you were struggling. Maybe it was heartbreak, maybe it was rejection, maybe it was a personal failure. In those moments, what did you need most? Harshness or kindness? You needed a voice that said, it's okay, you are strong enough, you will rise again. You needed love, not cruelty. And who better to give it than yourself? Because only you know the depth of your pain, only you hear the whispers of your fears at night, only you walk with yourself in every silent moment. So why not be that friend to yourself? Why not replace I am hopeless with I am learning? Why not replace I am unworthy with I am enough? These small shifts may sound simple, but they change the way you feel, the way you act, and the way you live. Speaking to yourself with love does not mean ignoring your flaws. It means addressing them with patience, the same way you would guide someone you love. If a friend struggles with something, you don't shame them, you help them. In the same way, self-love through words doesn't excuse mistakes. It encourages you to improve without destroying your spirit. So remember, your words are not only descriptions, they are medicine. They can heal you or they can hurt you. And the choice is always yours. From today, make a commitment, speak to yourself as you would to someone you deeply love. Let your words become a gentle embrace, a source of strength, and a well of encouragement. When you do that, you will notice your inner world softening, your confidence growing, and your life slowly blossoming. Because when love lives in your self-talk, everything else in life begins to change for the better. Your self-talk shapes your emotions, and your emotions shape your actions. This is one of the most powerful truths about human behavior. The way you feel does not simply appear out of thin air, it is born from the words and thoughts you entertain within yourself. And those emotions, in turn, are the fuel behind every step you take, every decision you make, every response you give to life. If you want to transform your actions, you must first transform your words. If you want to change what you are doing, you must first change what you are saying to yourself. Consider this: emotions are like colors, and self-talk is the brush that paints them on the canvas of your life. If you keep telling yourself, "I am a failure, I am unlucky, I will never get better," you paint your world in shades of gray and black. Those words stir emotions of sadness, fear, and despair, and when you carry those emotions, your actions naturally shrink. You avoid risks, you hesitate, you withdraw. But if you tell yourself, "I am learning, I am growing, I am capable," suddenly the brush paints brighter colors. Your heart feels lighter, you experience emotions of hope and confidence, and your actions expand. You try again, you show up, you take steps forward. Nothing in the outer world has changed, but your inner words changed your emotions, and your emotions changed your actions. Take a simple daily example. Imagine you are invited to speak at a gathering. Before stepping onto the stage, you whisper to yourself, "I am going to mess this up. People will laugh at me. I am not good at speaking." Immediately your body reacts. Your stomach tightens, your hands tremble, your throat dries up. The emotion of fear takes over, and your actions reflect that. You stumble over your words, you speak with hesitation, and you sit down with regret. Now imagine the same moment, but with different words. "I am nervous, but I have something valuable to share. People want to hear my perspective. I don't need to be perfect, I just need to be real." Instantly, your emotions shift. You feel calmer, encouraged, and more confident. And those emotions influence your actions. You speak clearly, you connect with the audience, and you walk away feeling fulfilled. The stage was the same, the audience was the same, but your words changed your emotions, and your emotions changed your actions. This truth is visible in all areas of life. Think of someone waking up in the morning. If the first words they tell themselves are, "I hate this day, I am tired, I don't want to do anything," the emotions they carry will be irritation, laziness, and lack of motivation. Naturally, their actions will reflect that. They drag themselves through the day, doing the bare minimum, avoiding effort. But if they wake up and say, "This day is a chance, I am grateful to be alive, I will do my best," their emotions are different. They feel hopeful, grateful, energized, and those emotions move them into actions of productivity, kindness, and creativity. The same sun rises for both people, but their self-talk changes how they live under its light. Even in relationships, this principle holds true. Imagine you have a disagreement with a loved one. If you say to yourself, "They don't respect me, they never understand me, they always hurt me," your emotions turn bitter, anger, resentment, frustration. And with those emotions, your actions become harsh. You argue, you shout, you close your heart. But if you tell yourself, "We may disagree, but they care for me, we can resolve this, I can speak calmly," your emotions are softer, understanding, patience, hope. And with those emotions, your actions become gentler. You listen, you speak respectfully, you seek solutions. The conflict was the same, but the outcome was completely different because your self-talk shaped your emotions, and your emotions shaped your actions. It is also seen in moments of challenge. A person facing failure can say, "This is the end, I can't recover, everything is over." The emotions that follow are despair and hopelessness. And the actions that follow are giving up, withdrawing, and refusing to try again. Another person facing the same failure can say, "This is painful, but it's a lesson. I can rise again. I will learn from this." The emotions that follow are resilience, determination, and courage, and the actions that follow are trying again, adapting, and eventually succeeding. Both face the same setback, but their words determine their emotions, and their emotions determine their actions. This is why it is said, "Your words create your world." Not because the words themselves have magic, but because they trigger emotions, and emotions move you into action. And over time, actions build your reality. If you want to change your results, start with your words. If you want to act differently, speak differently to yourself. There is an old story about a sculptor. Someone asked him how he managed to carve such beautiful statues out of stone. He replied, "I simply see the figure inside and chip away everything that is not part of it." In the same way, your words chip away at you every day. Negative words carve away your confidence, leaving behind fear. Positive words carve away your doubts, revealing your strength. And what remains is the action you take in the world. So, the question to ask yourself is this: what emotions are your words creating today? Are they creating heaviness that leads to hesitation? Or are they creating courage that leads to bold steps? Are they painting your world dark, leading you to shrink? Or are they painting it bright, leading you to expand? Remember, your self-talk is the first domino. Once it falls, emotions follow, and once emotions fall, actions follow. The chain begins not outside, but inside. Speak words of life, let your emotions bloom, and your actions will naturally follow. When you master your self-talk, you don't just change what you feel, you change what you do. And when you change what you do, you change the course of your life. When we say the words, "I can't," we are unconsciously locking a door that was meant to be opened. Those two words carry more weight than we realize. "I can't" sounds harmless when it slips out of our mouth, but in reality, it shapes the way our mind perceives possibility. Imagine a child trying to tie shoelaces for the first time. The moment the child says, "I can't do it," the hands slow down, the effort weakens, and soon tears replace determination. But the same child, when gently guided to say, "I'll try again," suddenly discovers the energy to keep attempting until the knot is tied. This is the power of shifting language from limitation to possibility. Many of us are grown adults, but deep down we are still that child. We want to try, we want to succeed, but we kill our own courage with the words, "I can't." Think about your own life. How many times have you said, "I can't learn this, I can't handle this pressure, I can't change who I am"? Each time, you chained yourself to a belief that kept you from moving forward. But when you replace those words with, "I'll try," you open the door to new experiences. The mind doesn't need immediate certainty, it needs willingness. Trying is not a guarantee of success, but it is a declaration of courage. Take the example of Thomas Edison. When asked about his thousands of failed attempts before discovering the right filament for the electric bulb, he didn't say, "I can't do it." Instead, he said, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." His language reflected persistence, not defeat. Every time he replaced "I can't" with "I'll try," he built a legacy that continues to illuminate the world. If a man who faced thousands of failures could still choose the language of hope, what excuse do we have when we give up after just a few attempts? In relationships too, this shift is powerful. Sometimes couples argue, And one partner might say, I can't forgive you. Those words create walls, bitterness, and separation. But imagine if instead they said, I'll try to understand you. I'll try to rebuild this trust. Suddenly, there is a bridge instead of a wall. Progress begins, even if slowly, simply because the choice of words open the door to healing. When we commit to trying, we show love. When we declare, I can't, we shut the heart. Even in spiritual practice, this principle holds true. Many say, I can't meditate. My mind wanders too much. But the truth is, no one sits down and becomes a master of meditation on the first day. The journey is about trying again and again. Every I'll try is a step toward discipline, toward inner stillness, toward connection with the divine. Saying, I can't, ends the journey before it even begins. But saying, I'll try, keeps us on the path, no matter how many times we stumble. Let us look at another example. Imagine a person at the gym, struggling with lifting weights. The trainer asks them to do one more repetition. The person groans, I can't. The body gives up, the mind surrenders, and the opportunity to grow stronger is lost. But if instead they say, I'll try one more, even if they don't succeed fully, the attempt itself strengthens them. Life works the same way. The reward is not always in the outcome, but in the courage to push ourselves beyond the point of comfort. Shifting from I can't to I'll try is not about lying to yourself. It is not about pretending everything is easy. It is about giving yourself the permission to make progress, even if it is small. When you try, you invite possibilities into your life. You allow God to work through your effort. You give life a chance to surprise you. How many inventions, relationships, and miracles were born simply because someone decided to try one more time? There is a story of a bamboo tree that takes 5 years just to break through the ground. For those years, when the farmer waters it, there is no visible growth. If the farmer were to say, I can't do this, nothing is happening, he would stop watering and the tree would die before it even began. But because the farmer says, I'll try again tomorrow, he continues. And then in the 5th year, the bamboo shoots up, growing almost 90 feet in just weeks. This is the miracle of patience, persistence, and self-talk. My friends, remember this. I can't ends the story, I'll try, begins a new chapter. Every time you face a challenge, listen carefully to your inner dialogue. If you hear yourself say, I can't, pause, breathe, and replace it with, I'll try. Watch how your energy shifts, your hope revives, and your actions transform. The world may or may not believe in you, but your self-talk can either crush you or carry you. Choose the words that carry you forward. Choose to try. For in trying, you may stumble, you may fall, but you will always move closer to the person you were meant to become.